The little black cat, from the day she was born, had heard people gossip and whisper and warn each other to look out, be careful, and stay at all times as far as they could get away. From her little black tail, her ears and her nose, all of her, to the last of her black kitty toes. In terror they'd chatter, they'd bark and they'd cluck. "That kitten is dangerous!"
"Black magic!"
"Bad luck!" When she opened her eyes, as she learned how to walk, all that she knew as she grew was that talk, and that cold-hearted buzz caught the cat like a spell. Before long the kitten believed it as well. She didn't love fright or to see people blue, but her good neighbor's chit-chat just had to be true. There must be some evidence, some reason why people said what they said. Why on earth would they lie? People claimed she was creepy. They'd see her and scram.
"I guess,"
sighed the cat,
"evil's just what I am."
So after a while, with some hesitation, the black cat embraced her big bad reputation. Unlike other small kittens, this cat had no home. She was all by herself, left alone to roam the dark city streets and the pathways and alleys, the highways and parks and the hills and the valleys. She couldn't get food like the other cats might. Humans thought she was scary. She was too small to fight. So when the black kitten would see someone stopped with some food, she would hiss and then eat what they dropped. The kitten was acting mean, scary, and rude. She didn't want to, but she needed the food. For the purpose of getting her small daily feast, the kitten became what she'd been called, a beast. The kitten lived wild, ran about helter-skelter, until she was brought to an animal shelter. She was washed up and fed and then put in a crate with some toys and a pillow and blanket to wait for a person to drop in from someplace unknown and decide she was perfect and make her their own.
"Oh, great,"
thought the kitten.
"I'll never be free. No one wants to adopt a bad monster like me."
The cat stayed at the shelter, not happy at all, till the leaves changed their colors and it became fall. One day, much like the others, a girl with a hat walked in through the doors and she spied the black cat. She looked in the cat's eyes. They were beautiful, green, the most beautiful eyes that she ever had seen. The little girl smiled, for she understood in that special moment what no one else could. The girl walked away and she got in a line and she told the clerk, "That little cat must be mine." The kitten was shocked. Had she really just heard? No, it couldn't be happening. This was absurd. How could a little girl possibly want a creature that looked like its job was to haunt a creepy old house that had dropped off the grid? But against all the odds, this one little girl did. She named the cat Shadow and gave her a hug, then brought her to her home, a cute little snug bed with a blanket and little toy mouse. Shadow was overjoyed. She just loved her new house. That very night was, it turns out, Halloween, so the little girl ran off to paint herself green. And once dressed like a witch from her head to her feet, the girl picked up Shadow and went to trick-or-treat. It was wonderfully fun, absolutely sublime. Shadow found herself loved for the very first time. The witch and her cat were happy, fine and dandy, till some bullies showed up and said,
"Give us your candy."
The small witch was frightened. Her heart beat in her chest. Shadow knew it was time to do what she did best. She leapt from her friend's arms and she snarled and hissed. Her act made the kids run far off into the mist. Into the mist, too, Shadow began to hike. No human would want her knowing what she was like. But her person called out as Shadow walked away. "Wait, Shadow, come back! Please, I want you to stay!" Shadow paused for a moment, and then Shadow flew to the side of her friend who was loyal and true. "You're a hero! You're great!" said the girl with a smile. Could it be? Shadow thought. Am I really not vile? Shadow began to ponder, but stopped, for just then the sweet little girl began to speak again. "My friends said you'd be mean, that you wouldn't belong. They said you'd be bad luck, but boy were they wrong. They said not to pick cats black as night or as ink, but you are my best friend. I don't care what they think." And sitting outside with this kind, gentle youth, Shadow the kitten discovered the truth. Her tail meant little, so did her ears and nose, and every one of her furry black toes. And all of that gossip about what she'd do and what she'd be like, all that meant nothing too. The truth Shadow found out in that moment was that she was good, not evil. She knew this because, despite what people say, no matter how smart, who you are doesn't come from your looks, but your heart.